Hey there, it's EnderVerse. In the past few weeks, I've been collecting mods runnable on the 26.2 and 26.1 versions. I was surprised to see so many content mods also runnable on said versions. So sit tight and watch. You may very well end up with a fun content mod pack based on the Chaos Cubed update. Now without further ado, let's dive into the video. Spider Overhaul adds 10 new variants for the spiders spawning in specific biomes. Each variant of these spiders feature different abilities. The cactus spiders, for instance, explode in spikes after you kill them. Cavern spiders paralyze you and pin you in place. And the ice spiders inflict the icy effect on you, making you slippery. Depending on the spider you kill, you can get useful items and weapons, which further expand their use and integration in the game. I've seen mods improving Endermen, mods improving creepers, zombies, golems, you name it. But strangely enough, I've never seen a spider improving mod. I mean, one that adds new variants with different abilities like this one. So you will want to give it a try, especially as it's available in basically every important version there is. This next mod gives tools and weapons an aesthetic outline when enchanted. I know, you've likely seen a dozen mods or packs do the same thing, but I can assure you my friend, none of them are like this mod. First thing that distinguishes it is its shader support. When using this mod, you can expect the effect to stay on no matter your shader. It even gets better on a set number of shaders with a good bloom effect. Additionally, most, if not all custom tools texture packs are supported, but that only applies to 2D designs. 3D designs are complicated and are still in the works. This mod is great. It has lots of potential. My only recommendation is to add transparent outlines. The current outline looks great with shaders, but not so great on vanilla. A transparent design will be a much needed upgrade. This next mod adds beautiful apple cows that can be found randomly across the world. Naturally, you can shear the apple cows for apples, and you could also milk them. But don't go about expecting milkshakes, it's the same good old milk. There are also golden apple cows, which are rare, and enchanted golden apple cows, those being the rarest. This mod came in to modernize the apple cows from ore spawn, and if you have been around long enough and have played the mod, you'll notice the visual upgrade this mob has received. The new design is awesome, and features nice 3D details like branches with apples on them. If you want the full experience, you can go ahead and try the Antarchy mod by Crescent Lord and Lions. That whole mod is about modernizing ore spawn, and you could watch my video featuring it if you want a broad showcase of what it offers. As much as I hate to admit it, Mojang has been doing an excellent job optimizing 26.2. The loading times, frame rates, GPS, and everything else is leagues ahead of previous versions. Consequently, to host a 26.2 modded server, you wouldn't require nearly as many RAMs or as powerful CPU as you would have hosting on older versions. With Pinehosting, you could begin your 26.2 modded server with a price as low as $3 per month and a reduction of 30% of the total amount should you use my code ENDER. Unlike other services, Pinehosting isn't just cost efficient. You can expect your server to pack modern processors such as Ryzen 9, very fast DDR5 RAMs of the highest frequency, NVMe SSDs, and a helpful customer service that can be summoned in a flash. In addition to that, the control panel here is quite basic and simple to use, and in it you can remove and add mods or data packs very easily, install whole ModPacks with one click, schedule restarts or backups, as well as configuring every function of the server to the Easy Config tab. Most locations are covered, except for Asia and Africa. But again, I am African and I get very good ping. The trick here is to find a location near you. For me it was Germany. For you my friend, well, look at the map and see. I've been sponsored by Pinehosting for almost 2 years now, and it's one of the reasons I'm capable of doing this full time and make it my career and obsession. Thanks a lot for anyone who used the service, gave feedback about my channel or Pinehosting, and used my code ENDER on the checkout. You have no idea how much you contribute to the future of this channel. And now with that out of the way, let's go back to modding. Entity Model Feature Compat is a family of mods developed by Slabbed. There are dozens of these mods, all are focused on the same purpose, making entity model features work with a variety of other mods. Now you can have the player animation extension by Astralex work with the Not Enough animation mod, and not only will it not break, I will support it, adapt it as its own animation, which is insane and did wonders to my ModPack fresh and smooth. You can also use the Better Combat mod on top and you would still be good to go. What I mentioned are only 2 of the most important and popular entity model feature Compat mods. There are many more, so should any mod break your player animation texture pack, Go to Starde's profile and you will likely find a Compat mod ready for the check-in. This has basically overhauled ModPack creation visual-wise, so don't miss it out. Matcha Flavoured is a new data pack that aims to reconstruct the game's survival mode, making the experience a lot more raw and less farm-based and XP hungry. From now on, hunger does not exist, so there is no passive regeneration, only active one, as you will need to eat to regain health. And speaking of which, the author designed 50 new types of foods, most of which derived from vanilla foods, things like boiled eggs, chocolate, cheese, baked apples and carrots, etc. And apart from regenerating your health, some of these foods can give you special effects for a brief amount of time, ultimately incentivizing you to diversify your diet. Metallurgy and equipment is also one of this mod's strongest features, with you being able to craft new tools like matchocks that are multifunctional, along with forging new alloys that can be used to upgrade vanilla equipment. Although not all, some of these alloys can feature special properties, things like speed and lifesteal, making it less profitable to just rush your way to the strongest set. Instead, you are likely going to diversify your arsenal with weapons, tools and armors from different alloys. There are so many features to discover, all aiming to immerse you more into the game, eradicating farms and money glitches and prioritizing concentration and engaged gameplays. So be sure to try it out, it could be what you've been looking for all along. Slabbed is a quality of life mod allowing you to place anything on top or below the void bit of the slab. With this feature, tens, hundreds or thousands of new build designs have been unlocked, and I'm sure you are thinking of dozens just by watching this video. Install this mod and re-innovate your builds. You'll be surprised as to how flexible and aesthetic building becomes with this mod on. Millager mod adds plenty of new villagers specialized in different types of combat and guerrilla. Having started a raid, you will not be fighting alone anymore. Reinforcements will soon follow, flattening the raider's army and easing the battle. The fight between the two legions is very entertaining to watch, and you really won't have to do anything on your part. Just sit down and enjoy the show. Raids aside, you will see this mod's influence all over your world, as you can come across new structures housing an arms dealer called the Commander. This villager will sell you lots of weapons like cocktail molotovs, along with showing you how to craft plenty more tools that can be very handy during battle. This is a very underrated mod, partly due to it competing with a behemoth as big as guard villagers. For me personally, I kinda prefer this one. It features different types of warriors, allows you to craft new types of weapons, and it integrates nicely with its reinforcement system. World Alive is a very awesome ambient mod adding bird visual effects appearing in different spots. You could find tokens on the jungle biome, flamingos in savannas, seagulls on every beachside, and a lot more birds and even insects and lizards in different places and conditions. I am a big fan of mods like these. They are entirely client-sided, allowing you to enjoy this atmospheric upgrade on public servers with no issues at all, not to mention how much of a difference they make when combined with other projects like the Visual Effects Plus Texture Pack in the Atmospherics mod. Shippy Ships adds 3 new types of boats that you can build and use to sail the high seas. Depending on the ship you've got, speed and storage will be different. Sailboats are the fastest, though are the least reliable for storage and combat, and caravels are the most spacious and powerful, but are very slow due to their weight. It'd be wise to go for the cogs, as they serve as a middle ground between the two. When running this mod on Fabric, you can download the Old Cannons mod, which is compatible with this mod, as you'll be able to install these cannons on your ship and use them to blow up stuff. To build any of these ships, you must use 3 logs to craft the Sailboat Builder. Those can then be converted to cog builders and to caravel builders eventually, all without a reduction in the number of builders. Anyways, with the builders crafted, you can put them on the ground and follow the instructions. Quite similar to Aleki's nifty ships if you are familiar with that mod. Once construction is over, you simply board the boat and drive it to the nearest body of water. It will then set sail and begin cruising. When it comes to ships mod, this is your only option for the 26.2 version. Though I'm not saying it's a last resort, it's a beautiful mod and has a very simple and straightforward way of making the ships. I would only wish for native cannons along with the ability to use them while driving the boats. Aside from that, it's perfect. Up next, we have a very neat mod making it so that every time you die, an epic death screen with a distortion background, sound effects and a code that is different death to death will appear. This is a very special feature that I've never seen before, not even outside of Minecraft, so it most certainly merits your time, my friend. This next mod overhauls the player animation, putting your entire body to work, with every limb and section moving fluidly as you run or walk, crawl or climb, jump or swim, etc. This mod also animates material gathering, along with combat, be it archery or swordsmanship. When you go AFK, new animations get triggered, conversation down, stretching, or even gifting flowers if you have any in hand. SmoothPlayerAnimations is a mod with plenty of potential. It even features support for other mods like better combat and not enough animations. Try it out if you'd like to experience fresh new actions. Color Splash is yet another visual/functional mod. It allows you to trim your armors with chains of new materials, effectively widening your color options and opening the door for awesome new outfits. Additionally, you can craft a new alloy within the mod called Rose Gold. It's only useful for trimming as of now, but I'm sure the author is thinking or is already working on full Rose Gold equipment. Combined with the Glow and Trims mod, you can get a glaring upgrade to the trimming on Minecraft, so try it out and see what combination of colors you come up with. Voxy is a mod I simply cannot play without. It saves the chunks you looted and keeps them visible even if they are thousands of blocks away. Those distant chunks are called LODs, and in this mod, they are ridiculously well rounded. Even when you zoom at them, they still look good, and surprisingly enough, the pressure on my processor was very low too. Sadly, I don't have a low-end PC at my disposal to test it out, but I have a feeling even potato computers will be able to run it and even benefit from it. As you can see, Voxy is compatible with some shaders. This thankfully included the most popular and widely used shaders, Complementary reimagined, and I can't wrap my head around these staggering graphics. The reflections and shadows remain intact on the LODs, resulting in next-gen visuals. I assume most of you know about this mod, but if you didn't, congratulations. You're about to upgrade your performance and graphics beyond recognition, my friend. With this mod on, cats will have quarrels with one another, fighting and scratching each other when first met. When seeing two cats ready to fight, make sure to left click them with a shovel. This will temporarily flatten them, upon which they will lose all interest in battling. It's recommended not to have a texture pack that alters cats. This includes fresh animations too, as you can break the models of the cats, particularly when they arch their back. Also, all cats will quarrel, even those you tamed, so be sure to keep a shovel in reach, just in case. The author is also working hard to port it to many versions and add new features too, so be sure to try it out, if not for day-to-day gameplay, then just to experience these fun quarrels for yourself. Hunter's Return adds a new type of Illagers found in the forest. As the name suggests, this new Illager is a hunter. When hungry, he will go out and hunt himself a sheep or a cow for nutrition. However, that's not it. The hunter is very highly territorial. If he spots you, he will come running to end you, so be careful. Hunters can spawn with either melee weapons or ranged ones, but rarely, not always, they can spawn with a boomerang. If you kill the hunter with one of those weapons, you could obtain it and use it in battle. It's not very strong, but it can deal double damage once thrown and when it's coming back should any mob be in its way. Hunters could be found in all types of forests in the game. Sometimes you could find multiple hunters on the same spot, providing extra challenge and a higher chance of obtaining a boomerang. Respawn Recap is a very pleasant and unique mod. Now the moment you die, your whole life will go flashing before your eyes. How this mod works is that as you go about playing the game, screenshots will be taken periodically and are saved in a specific folder dedicated to that particular lifetime. The longer you've lived, the longer the clip. Man, I can only imagine someone playing hardcore Minecraft with this mod on. Just imagine months, if not years of progress flashing before your eyes. That'd be enough to make anyone cry. This mod was inspired by the amazing game Outer Wilds, and it's a very unique project. I'd especially recommend it for hardcore playthroughs. And don't worry, the mod does some cache cleaning and storage control, so you're not gonna end up with a terabyte worth of screenshots. Midnight Thoughts is a mod overhauling sleeping on Minecraft. Now whenever you sleep, crazy world facts and other quotes will appear, entertaining you as the night passes. Having woken up, a summary of your statistics on the game will appear, and should you be the best sleeper on the server, you'll be granted a lot of positive effects, from increased regeneration, strength, more hearts, and so on. The environment you sleep in will contribute whether you are the MVP sleeper or not. If you sleep in a cozy bed, you will get quality sleep. If you sleep out in the open, you will experience nightmares. Awesome mod, this one. Not so intrusive on the game, and stops you using sleep as means to an end, since your stats will depend on it now. SlashBlade Refabricated brings that legendary mod to newer versions of the game. Now you can find an assortment of katanas around your world, all with different stats but seemingly the same abilities and techniques. Wielding one of these katanas can make you a mean war machine. Any army ahead of you will be dead in seconds, and there is no cooldown to the slashes, so you can just slice at your heart's content. Combat aside, you can also use the katanas decoratively, as they can be posed in different ways using stands, allowing you to roleplay the Sengoku era in Minecraft. One Dimension is a special mod making it so that the end, the overworld, and the nether are all in the same dimension, only in different heights. The author implemented this intelligently, as you will have to mine obsidian sail to get to the nether. However, for the end it's a completely different story. You have to build up 800 blocks to reach it. Could take several minutes of pillaring, not to mention the raw materials required to do it. This mod can be one way to simulate a fantasy ModPack. A ModPack where the first to obtain dragons is the first to make it to the end. Or maybe it's not dragons, maybe it's planes, whatever means will do. This is a small mod that allows lanterns to be placed on walls instead of being constrained to vertical surfaces. Torches can be oversimplistic and not highly aesthetic like lanterns. With this mod on, you'll be able to illuminate your town using lanterns solely, enhancing the appearance and modernizing the builds. If you want more mods for the latest version, you could check the last episode. We went over an alternative mod to Farmer's Delight, a mod allowing you to play with your baby pets, mods overhauling the wall generation, plus a lot more. Subscribe and turn on the bell to stay up to date with the modding scene, and be sure to use my code ENDER if you choose Pinehosting as your server provider. You will get 30% off and support the long-term development of the channel. Now see ya in the next one, my friend.